Welcome to another episode of Your Daily Scrum. I'm professional Scrum trainer Ryan Ripley. That guy is professional Scrum trainer Todd Miller. What's up? Here's what we do at this show, right? Daily show. We try to keep it short. Sometimes we go long, but it's about trying to help you do Scrum a little bit better each and every day. Help your teams get some stuff delivered, good value into the world. Those are our goals, at least. Let's see. We're co-authors of Fixing Your Scrum, Practical Solutions to Common Scrum Problems. We teach a lot of Scrum and Kanban courses. Check out the description for more information about that stuff. Leave your comments, like and subscribe. Do all of those great things because guess what? Your questions and comments turn into future videos. And if you've liked and subscribed, you won't miss when we answer your stuff. All right, Todd.
This was a good question. This one we got coming up here. It came to my LinkedIn inbox.
Yeah, hit us up on the socials, right?
Yeah, on the social. Is that an inbox? Is that what a LinkedIn is?
I don't listen to that stuff.
How
would you explain the Scrum Master role to a child, Todd?
I think we both have different stories for this, right? Because I have a couple stories. Like my daughter, I think I was talking to her about a product owner stuff, and she drew the product. I draw her a picture of Scrum, and then I thought how I was brought into my son's first grade class to have a conversation about what I do. You know how honestly, like I think you know me, I'm a little bit of a nervous person anyway. Like I still get nervous before classes or anything. I was terrified.
Yeah.
I was terrified to go in front of these kids. The teacher saw me looking like all nervous. These kids are like all quiet and staring at me. And like, you know, they do the weird hand signal things where all the kids like get in order. And then there's one kid like sticking his foot in the air.
Yeah.
And I'm standing there thinking about how am I going to explain Scrum to these kids? And I, you know, to be honest with you, I just drew it on a whiteboard and I said that you learn and then you try again, and then you learn, and then you try again, and you learn, you try again, and you change course along the way. And there's different people that do different things. And that was about as far as I got into it. So those are my stories. Is I think that kids just like adults really appreciate the visual, and in both instances that I was in this situation, I provided the visual.
Yeah, my middle son is just he's crazy. I think I've talked about him before. He's just nuts. And one day I had walked out of my office after, like a day like today, where we wrapped up day one of the Advanced Scrum Master PSM2 course today, right? I walked out of my office and he was just like, "Hey, Dad, what do you do? What would you say you do around here?" You know, kind of like the Office Space question. And I'm like, "Well, what do you mean?" He's like, "Well, what is this Scrum stuff? Like, especially like you keep talking about the Scrum Master. What is that?" And I'm like, "Well, you know, buddy, that the Scrum Master is that person that helps a group of people do a little bit better each and every day, right? They get rid of the things that are stopping them from doing what they need to do. They help them understand how to work a little better. They get people to where they need to be. You know, they make sure that, you know, needs are being met and that the environment's safe and all those things." And he turns to me and he goes, "So you mean mom?" And I was like, "You know what, buddy? I love the fact that you think about your mom. Oh, fine, let's go with that." Like he really thought that was like a good analogy, and in his mind it made sense. And so we went with it. And I think he's right. His mom's pretty awesome. She's really awesome and does a lot of those Scrum Master type of things in our household. And it worked out great. But he also was like, you know, asking me, you know, what's this behavioral stuff? And because I was talking about the Scrum values a bit. And he's like, "Oh, that's easy. They taught us that in kindergarten." I'm like, "Buddy, if only the Scrum values stuck from kindergarten to adulthood, the world of work would be a lot better." But it's always funny talking to the kids about this stuff because they come up with their own connections and their own analogies. Like I was touched that Holden thinks of his mom as a Scrum Master, and he's not wrong. She's amazing at being a true leader in our family, and she's just great at so many things. But also this idea that the Scrum values get instilled in us in kindergarten. He's not wrong, but somewhere we just lose them. And we got to help teams, you know, and people recapture that. So I don't know. What do you think?
It makes me think, like it's back to school night's going to be coming up here in a few weeks. My kids are heading back to school tomorrow.
Yeah.
It makes me think of all the posters that you see in the school. Like my daughter's in middle school. She'll be in high school next year, dude.
Whoa.
Yeah, my son is heading into fifth grade. And it makes me think some of the posters that we have hanging in schools, right? Like be kind to one another. They have values that you operate, like being respectful and things like that. Maybe we should start hanging those in an office. Or maybe we should actually start remembering those things that we learned in kindergarten, because some of it, I think, not some of it, all of it is still applicable. And so we could probably draw on that to explain Scrum to our kids. And I think that, what's the one thing? I don't know. There's an analogy that comes, but I can't recall it right now. It's a bad time to try to think of it. But yeah, I think maybe we could really circle back to that and bring that into the workplace, and maybe tie that in with what we're talking about with our kids, right?
Yeah, and I think there is a post. I like that we did our back to school night last week, and there was a poster on the wall that I wanted to steal and hang it in every corporate office in America. It's "If in doubt, ask for help."
Yeah.
And it's like, how many times have we seen the Scrum Master have to like pull the idea out of a person that they just need some help and they need to go ask? You know, and I like it, Todd. We should steal the kindergarten posters and put them up in the corporate buildings.
Yeah. And then, as a tie into that for this question is, I think you could grab those same posters, or you're at your back to school night, and use that as a way to explain what you do to your kids, because all Scrum Masters should be thinking that way and trying to bring that to the office.
It's funny though. I also have a kindergartner, and I've often said being a Scrum Master is like herding cats. And I'll tell you what, my daughter's kindergarten teacher, she's amazing at herding cats. Maybe I should just point my daughter to her teacher and say, what she does all day, that's kind of what daddy that's what daddy does all day.
Yeah.
Oh well, fun question. We really appreciate it. It's how would you explain the Scrum Master role to a child? I think in terms that your child gets, whether it's comparing back to mom, back to a teacher, just trying to show. I think that servant leadership aspect is really a big part. And again, just it's interesting what the kids come up with. So give it a shot. Let us know how it goes in the comments, right? We want to hear these are fun stories. All right. That means we're at end screen, Todd.
End screen it is.
Like and subscribe. Do not miss a future video. We got a lot of stuff dropping. Check out the socials. A lot of information about what Todd and I are up to get pushed out, especially to Twitter and LinkedIn. Sometimes we go live. You can check that out on YouTube, Facebook, and LinkedIn. Some videos just popped up. Hopefully you like those too. The algorithm at YouTube thinks you will. Have a conversation with a little person, whether it's a kid, a niece, a nephew, a son, a daughter, whichever, whatever you've got going on in your situation in life. Have a conversation with a kid about the Scrum Master. See what they think. It might lead to an interesting conversation. All right.
That's a wrap.
Have a good convo. Let us know how it goes in the comments. We'll see you tomorrow.